welcome. I'm Neville Judd from Hexagon TV. ArcelorMittal is moving towards a single mine planning platform at its Mont-Wright mine in Quebec, Canada. Principal Geology Specialist Alexis Eapen and Mont-Wright's mine planning team are using Hexagon's activity scheduler and logic solutions to improve workflows, replace scripts, and bring transparency to the planning process. Alexis, thanks so much for joining us today.
Glad to be back.
Good, nice to have you here. So Alexis, tell us about the Mont-Wright mine and the planning challenges that you face there.
Well, the Mont-Wright mine is located in northern Canada, up in the cold part of, of the region.
Right.
And it is actually one of the largest open pit mines in North America. We produce 26 million metric tons of concentrate every year, and it's a significant operation there. So
a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and you know, when I started a couple of years ago at Arcelor, we were looking into the mine planning department, and we were finding there was just so many scripts there, and just a lack of documentation to actually really explain some of these scripts. And really, these scripts were just meant to communicate different documents, different files between multiple departments. So, yeah.
I see. So, how important are transparency and improved workflows when you've got geologists working together, collaborating, and reporting to multiple stakeholders?
It's extremely important.
Right.
You know, you really need to understand the entire workflow, especially when you have multiple people asking you, okay, where is this file? How, let's say you have a block model. Well, how did you get the values from this? How did you calculate this? And obviously we're talking to multiple stakeholders, management, other engineers, geologists, consultants. And you know, if we can't provide that information, well, if we don't know how we achieve this particular result, well, how useful is that data? So to see that transparency, having SOP documents, really showing how to use the software that's necessary. I mean, my team spent so much time in the last couple of years writing these documents. Right. So very important.
So how does Hexagon's mine planning software help, particularly the activity scheduler and logic?
Well, in the last year, we've been specifically working on our short-term workflow, and we've been using a combination of logic and activity scheduler to do this workflow. So within the activity scheduler, we are able to directly manually draw in our short-term interpretation. And within that, we are directly able to connect to multiple block models, where we can get our grades directly right away with a click of the button. We can look back at previous block models and receive the data right away. And so that's done in Activity Scheduler. And there's a little plugin in Activity Scheduler which actually allows us to connect different files, different things to not only mine plan, but we can send it off to a different part of their server, and that's the release function.
Right.
And then you know, once we're done with actually drawing our interpretations, that is the connection to logic, where we update our block model. So I think that release is really that little bridge between the two products, and it's everything seems to just be interconnected, which really helps. You know, no importing, exporting from different files. So
it's good to hear. So what metrics or even anecdotal evidence quantify the benefits of those solutions?
I mean, some things that what we've seen is that now we're able to provide data that we can guarantee more accurate data. We have more confidence in the data that we produce, because we know exactly what we're doing within logic or what we're doing in Planner. So we're able to just take the confidence that we have in these products, and we can also provide that confidence to our stakeholders, our auditors, our consultants, and also, of course, my peers, the engineers and geologists.
Right. So describe your personal satisfaction at seeing the benefits of ArcelorMittal moving towards this single mine planning platform.
Well, now we're able to, our files are much more organized. They're all in a very similar structure, as well as the data that we've been providing to people. We work in long-term modeling, short-term, medium-term block models. Well, all this data now is in a very structured format, and they all have the same consistency. So as we continue this moving to a unified platform, we'll be able to have all the end users using the exact same project format and the same organizational structure, so that it just makes sense rather than looking in the server somewhere hoping we can find the right file.
Right.
Also, it will just be less of the import-export from the different other vendors that we were using previously, and I think that's a huge part of it.
Good to hear. Alexis, thanks so much for joining us today. We'd like to thank our guest today, Alexis Eapen, for joining us. If you'd like to find out more information about these solutions, visit hexagonmining.com, and to watch additional episodes, visit hxgnspotlight.com. Thanks for tuning in.